If you're thinking about visiting Zion National Park and are trying to figure out what to do in Zion National Park, then you're in the right place. In this episode, we're going to look at the top 10 things to do in Zion National Park. Hi, I'm James Ian, and I've written numerous guides and published several itineraries for Zion National Park. By sharing top things to do in Zion National Park, I'm going to help you have the best trip possible. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe right now. If you're watching or listening to this somewhere else, then follow my podcast to get the episodes as they come out. Including as many of the best things to do in Zion National Park will help you get the most out of your trip and avoid that sinking feeling that you get in your stomach when you get back and someone asks, "Did you do blah 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 in Zion?" And you have to reply, "No," because you didn't even know about it. I've written an article with 17 top things to do in Zion National Park, but I'm only including the top 10 in this video. To see what the other 7 are, click on the link in the description below to read the article on my website, parkscollecting.com. Be sure to stay to the end where, of all the fun things to do in Zion National Park, I'll be sharing my favorite. Let's take a look.
Welcome to National Parks Collecting with James Ian, the national park expert. He is here to help you have the best national parks trips ever. Get tips, discover hidden gems, and learn all you need to know. This is your path to collecting national parks experiences, memories, and maybe even a stamp or two.
So, what are the best things to do in Zion National Park? Remember to stay to the end where I'll be sharing the number 1 Zion activity. You'll want to know about that before you go. Number 1. A wonderful thing to do in Zion is enjoy a scenic drive. There are several scenic drives actually in Zion National Park. First is the Zion Mount Carmel Highway. This is a 10-mile scenic drive through the park's east entrance that offers breathtaking views of the park's sandstone cliffs, rock formations, and canyons. On the East Mesa, Checkboard Mesa is a unique geological feature. It looks kind of like a checkerboard with these natural lines in the stone. It's very cool. The drive also features several tunnels, including the 1.1-mile Zion Mount Carmel Tunnel, which was carved through the rock in the 1920s. The tunnel is considered an engineering marvel, and it offers amazing, spectacular views of the park's landscapes through the windows that were specifically created to provide glimpses of the views. Although it is not possible to stop at the windows, that's not safe, not legal. So you need to enjoy them as glimpses as you drive through. After you exit the tunnel, if you're coming from the east entrance, there are several viewpoints with parking areas, including the Canyon Overlook Trail, which offers panoramic views of the park's Red Rock Canyons and the Pine Creek Waterfall. The Zion Mount Carmel Highway is a steep and winding road, and RVs and trailers longer than 50 feet aren't allowed. All larger vehicles shorter than that, but 11 feet 4 inches high or higher and 7 feet 10 inches wide or wider, require a special traffic control through the tunnel, and the drive may be closed during the winter months due to snow and ice. Another scenic drive is the Zion Canyon Scenic Drive. This is an absolute must-do. It's a 6-mile drive that takes you through some of the most breathtaking scenery in the park. Bear in mind that most of the year you can't actually drive this in your own vehicle. You do need to take the free shuttle instead. However, in winter, when the shuttle doesn't run, you can drive your own vehicle. And as you wind your way through the canyon, you'll be surrounded by towering cliffs, lush greenery, the rushing waters of the Virgin River. Along the way, you'll have plenty of opportunities to stop if you're driving or get out at a shuttle stop and take in the stunning views, take some photos, even go for a hike. The drive takes about 1 to 2 hours, depending on how many stops you'll make along the way, and it is kind of the highlight of the national park. Another scenic drive in Zion is the Kolob Terrace Road. It's a 22-mile drive that takes you through some of the high country of Zion National Park with wonderful views of the surrounding mountains and the valleys. Along the way, you'll pass through a variety of different landscapes. There's dense forest, there's open meadows, there's some farmland. The road does go in and out of the park and in and out little bits of farms. There are several overlooks with really amazing views, including the Lava Point Overlook, where there's a panoramic view over the park and then the canyon in the background. It's really cool. The drive takes about 2 to 3 hours, depending on how many stops you make along the way. It is only open in the warmer months and it is closed to RVs and trailers. To get there, the road starts at the town of Virgin on Highway 9. Number 2. A fun thing to do near Zion National Park is tubing on the Virgin River. Although tubing isn't permitted in the national park itself, there is tubing available on the Virgin River just outside the park, and it's one of the most popular summertime activities. It's lots of fun. It's a very refreshing way to cool off during the hot summer months and see some of the attractions near the park. It's typically available May through July. You can rent tubes from local outfitters like Zion Outfitters, or you can bring your own. A popular spot is the 2-mile stretch of the Virgin River through Springdale that ends at City Park, where you can take the free shuttle back to your starting point. Keep in mind that the river can be dangerous, so always check current conditions before heading out and always wear appropriate safety gear. Number 3. A great thing to do in Zion National Park, especially on a hot summer's day, is swimming. There are several opportunities inside the park for swimming in natural pools and rivers, including the Virgin River swimming hole. This is a designated swimming spot, but keep in mind that the water level can vary a lot during the season and depending on the recent weather conditions as well. The current can be strong and the water can be cold, so I recommend wearing water shoes and a life jacket and not swimming there alone. Also be aware that there is often toxic cyanobacteria in the Virgin River, so you should always check the national park warnings before going swimming. Another spot for swimming that's allowed, but it's a little hidden secret, is the Pine Creek Waterfall swimming hole. It's much less well known, but it's a really great spot for cooling off on a hot day, and it's actually my favorite swimming hole in the park. To get there, it's a little bit tricky, maybe. You need to hike about 0.25 miles. It's short, but there's not really a clear trail, and there are some slippery rocks, so you need to take care. And the trailhead is near the Pine Creek Bridge near Canyon Junction on the south side of the Zion Mount Carmel Tunnel. You can access it without needing to take the shuttle. You can drive there, but the parking lot is very small. If you are relying on the shuttle, you need to walk for a little ways along the highway, and there's not much of a shoulder, so it's not ideal, to be honest. I have done it, but it's not ideal. It's better to drive there and park at the parking lot, but the parking lot's small. And then there's this trail. It's not really a trail, it's a hike, and then there's no clear trail. But that's kind of fun. I've seen bighorn sheep around there, and you're not really going to get lost. You just kind of head along the creek. And then when you're there, I've been there completely by myself in the middle of summer, and then a couple of other people joined later. It's open year-round, but the best time is May through September, when the weather's warmer. Permits aren't required, but be aware that of flash floods that can occur in Pine Creek, so you should always check the weather conditions and flash flood warnings at the visitor center before going. Something to note when we're talking about swimming is that swimming is not permitted at the Emerald Pools, just in the 2 places that I mentioned. Number 4, another fun activity near Zion National Park is, for some people anyway, is to take an ATV tour. This isn't allowed in the park itself, of course, but just nearby. Lots of opportunities for ATVs or all-terrain vehicles or UTVs, utility terrain vehicles. And they're a fun way to enjoy the park or the area around the park in a bit of a different way. There aren't, as I mentioned, any off-road vehicles permitted inside the national park itself, but there are several Jeep and UTV or ATV tours available around Zion, and there's a link below. Number 5. One of the best things to do in Zion National Park if you're up for an activity is horseback riding. There are several options for horseback riding tours in and around the park, each offering different experiences. Canyon Trail Rides has trips inside the national park itself from March through October. They have 1 to 3 hour rides along the Virgin River from near Zion Lodge in the middle of the canyon that provides stunning views of the surrounding scenery. I really recommend them. Another option is on the East Mesa, which offers beginner and intermediate level hikes, including a sunset ride to an amazing viewpoint, and there's a link below also for that. Before we look at more things to do in Zion National Park, if you're watching this on my @National Parks Collecting YouTube channel and you haven't already, please like and subscribe below. What's number 6? A great thing to do in Zion National Park at night is stargazing. If you're looking for things to do in Zion at night, stargazing is one of the most magical experiences in Zion National Park, I think. The park is located in a remote area, so it has minimal light pollution, so it's a great place to view the night sky in all its glory. In fact, it's actually designated as an International Dark Sky Park, which is an official recognition that this is one of the best places in the world to see the night sky. Some of my favorite spots for stargazing in Zion National Park, one of them is the patio of the Human History Museum. There's a patio at the back of the museum that has really great views of the northern sky and the towers of the Virgin Rock Wall. Perfect for stargazing all year. Another is the Paras Trail. It's a great spot for stargazing because it has open views. There's meadows all around it rather than being closed in, so it's a really great place to see the night sky, and it's accessible all year round also. And then if you're up on the East Mesa, the Zion Ponderosa Ranch Resort is located at a high elevation and away from light pollution, making it another ideal spot for stargazing. There are some tours available if you want to learn more about the night sky while you're looking at the stars, and there's a link below too for a tour if you're interested. Number 7. One of the fun things to do in Zion National Park is cycling. Cycling is a really great way to experience the park's beauty and majesty. It allows you to cover a lot of ground, a lot more than hiking, but still enjoying it at a pretty leisurely pace. One of the best things to do if you're up for it is to cycle from Springdale through the entire Zion Canyon to the Temple of Sinawava and back again. It's a really great way to see the park's main attractions. The only other thing on the road is the shuttle buses. It's round trip 15 miles. Although the road is mostly flat, it does climb 300 feet from the visitor center to the top of the road. If either the distance or the little elevation change seems like a lot, a great option is to rent an e-bike in nearby Springdale. And then you start actually on the Paras Trail because you're allowed to take a bike on that. And then when you get to the end, then you just hop on the road and go through the rest of the canyon. If you want to rent an e-bike in Zion, there's a link below. If you don't want to do the full Zion Canyon, if you just want to experience being in the park and cycle, the Paras Trail is a 1.7 mile paved trail. It has really great views. It goes along the Virgin River. It's ideal for cycling. It is also used for hiking, so just keep an eye out for hikers along the way. Number 8, another thing to do in Zion National Park is photography. It's kind of a photographer's dream, whether you're a photography enthusiast, whether you're a professional photographer, or if you're like me and you just want to take great photos on your phone to capture memories. It's just perfect. It's just so beautiful. There's so many different landscapes, unique rock formations, diverse wildlife, so many great opportunities. Some of my favorite places are the Canyon Junction Bridge. It has a really iconic view of the Watchman and the Virgin River in the foreground. However, you're not actually allowed to be on the bridge itself as a pedestrian, so just nearby on the Paras Trail you'll get a similar view, and that's where you should more safely take a photo. There's also Canyon Overlook, which you get to from the Canyon Overlook Trail, one of the most iconic views in the park. There's also a really great view of the Towers of the Virgin from behind the Zion Human History Museum. That's a really great spot. For the best photography experience, like most national parks, if not all of them, I recommend visiting in the morning or the evening. The light's really soft. It's really much nicer for photography. Number 9. One of my favorite things to do in Zion National Park, or again, technically just outside the park, is canyoneering. Canyoneering, if you don't know it, also just called canyoning sometimes, is a combination of hiking, rappelling, which is when you sort of jump down a cliff on a rope, or using a rope, climbing, sometimes swimming through narrow slot canyons. With so many canyons in the area that range from beginners to advanced levels, canyoneering is one of the most fun things to do, I think, in Zion for adventure lovers. If you're an experienced canyoneer, then you can go by yourself, but you do need a wilderness permit. Permits are limited and can be difficult to obtain in the peak season, so if you're doing this, plan ahead well in advance. If you're new to canyoneering or if you don't have your own equipment, there are several guided tours available in the area through outfitters in Springdale. They make rappelling really safe and enjoyable. They have all of the equipment. They have an experienced guide who knows the area really well. I highly recommend them. This is what I've done, and it was just amazing. Just so much fun. Again, there's a link below for a couple of different options of tours if you're interested. What's the number one thing to do in Zion National Park? Well, so far we've looked at 9 amazing activities. I think there's just one more left. Stay to the end to hear my absolute favorite thing to do in Zion. But before we do, a quick recap. So there's cycling, photography, canyoning, stargazing, horseback riding, tubing, swimming, and more. You may be thinking, that all sounds amazing, but how on earth do I coordinate all those activities into one itinerary that makes the most sense for me and my family? The park is popular, so it can be crowded, so timing is also really important, and it can be difficult to know exactly what to do and when, yeah? That's why I created super detailed itineraries for Zion. There are 1, 2, and 3 day options available. There's a link to the Zion itineraries page at the top of the description below. But we can take a quick look now. There's a park overview. There's also a detailed schedule for each day. And then that breaks down into lots and lots of detail. There's hike descriptions, driving descriptions, there's maps for hiking and driving. There's different activities for the same area of the park. So if you're traveling with people who want to do different things, there's different options for you all. There's also tips, there's timings, there's where to see the best views, all of those things and more. So with the itineraries, you just know exactly what to do and when and how to connect them all in a way that makes the most sense so that you're in the right place at the right time. Without these itineraries, I often see people really struggling on how to coordinate their time, to be in the right place at the right time, and to see and do all of the things that they want to do in the time that they have available. These itineraries just take away the overwhelm, yeah? And they give you all the information that you need in one spot so that you don't need to worry about missing out on any highlights, so that you can do all of the best things to do that you want to do and in a schedule that makes the most sense. Just follow the links in the notes below and it will take you to a page on my website that has all of this information in more detail. Now, as promised, what's my number one thing to do in Zion National Park? Well, this may not be a surprise, but my favorite thing to do in Zion National Park is hiking. Zion is home to some of the most breathtaking hiking trails in the world, I think. Whether you're a seasoned hiker or a beginner, there is a trail for you, and without a doubt, hiking is one of the absolute top things to do in Zion. Here are 3 of the most popular hiking trails in Zion. First up is the Narrows. The Narrows is one of the most iconic hikes in the park. It actually takes you through a narrow slot canyon that at some points is only about 20 or 30 feet wide, hundreds of feet tall, and you're hiking in a river. So you will get wet, you'll be wading through, you should have the right equipment. It is closed sometimes if the water level is too strong or too high, or if there's a possibility of a flash flood, so always double check with the National Park Service on their website or the visitor center before heading out. But it's a really interactive, really unusual, unique hike that you will love, I'm sure. Another really famous hike in the park is the hike to Angel's Landing. This is strenuous. It's about 5.4 miles round trip. It takes you up to the top of a 1,500-foot tall rock formation, and the last half a mile is on this really narrow section with really steep drop-offs on both sides. Definitely not good for you if you're afraid of heights, but if you find that thrilling, then this is the hike for you. At the end are amazing views down Zion Canyon. Even if you don't want to do that last half a mile, I actually really recommend this hike. I personally really love the first part of the hike to Scouts. It's interactive, there's great views, it's lots of fun. I highly recommend it. And then a hike that isn't as popular but is personally my favorite is the hike to Observation Point. I think it has the best views in the park. You used to be able to hike up from the bottom of the main Zion Canyon, but a rockfall a few years ago blocked that in a pretty major way, and I don't know when, if ever, that's going to reopen. So now you need to get there via the East Rim Trail or the East Mesa Trail. Both of them are on the East Mesa. I will sneak in a fourth one. I know I said my top 3, but I also really like the hike to Emerald Pools. You can either go on the Emerald Pools trails, there's a series of 3 of them all connected, or on the Cayenta Trail, or do both of them one way and then get the shuttle, and also really beautiful, really nice. If you want more help planning your trip, then check the links in the description below. There are a bunch of planning and booking resources that you can use to plan and book your trip, and keep watching my videos to get even more help so that you can have the best national parks vacation ever. And if you want to get notified about the next episode, subscribe and click below.